All right, the Washington Commanders make two unusual moves. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but this channel fully dedicated to teams that just kind of get overlooked by the national media. That's kind of how we started this. And then, of course, the Commanders beat the Lions. And so we've been on the Commanders for quite a while and just kind of like what they're doing. And it wasn't fun when you beat us, that's for sure. But definitely see what you're doing, respect it. And so here's the two unusual moves. The first one is, you signed an offensive lineman. Kind of a weird time to sign one, but it's a futures deal, meaning, hey, we want you at our training camp next year. The unusual part about it is it's Bobby Hart, offensive tackle, he's an offensive lineman who's 30 years old, 7th-round pick, bounced around a lot, Bills, Dolphins, Titans, Lions, last played an NFL snap in 2022. However, he did appear in 15 games for the Bills. So he joined the Commanders actually last October, never got activated from the practice squad. So it's kind of a unique, like, hey, we want you back type of thing. We want you back competing for a roster spot. It's like, it's a little unusual that you would be focused on grabbing a 30-year-old 7th-round pick. But nonetheless, hey, bring him back. You're used to him. That's fine. Here's the other unusual one that I think's a little bit more interesting is that the Washington Commanders hired a long-time special teams coordinator, Brian Schneider, from the Niners, and they're going to make him an assistant special teams coach. So yeah, here it is. Sorry, I'm all over the place. The Commanders are hiring a longtime special teams coordinator as their assistant special teams coordinator. So a little unusual. You've seen a lot of guys bounce around, but coaching staff-wise. But I think it's interesting that you're going to find that the Commanders are getting a guy to almost take a demotion. Why does that not sound right? What am I saying? He's demoted. It's a demotion. I don't know. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. He's taking he's going down. Everyone's trying to get promoted out there, but you get a really good coach to take an assistant special teams coach. So I think that's interesting. Now, a couple other things. We've talked about this maybe if you've seen it that I think's really important to see. PFF did a ranking of basically your off-season capital. How much draft capital do you have and how much cap space do you have? Take a look at this. You can see that the Washington Commanders are down here 30th. Why are they so low? They don't have very many picks and they're drafting not in a premium position. That's why. So you put that all together, and they're 30th with draft capital. Now, take this over to cap space. And here's what you'll see when you look at that. Let me shift this over a little bit so you can get it in here. What you're looking at in this chart is you want to be on the right side of this chart. It says that you have cap space, $60, $70, $80 million. But then if you're over on the left side or the top, you want to be bottom right. If you're at the top, it means that you have this restructure potential. It means you owe guys money. Big contracts are going to come due, right? So that number is a little weird where it's like you got a bunch of free agents. So you've got a lot of cap space, but you also have a lot of your own free agents. And so that number can be deceiving. This is telling me that you have true cap space. Patriots have a ton of it, like a lot, 150 million. Raiders are in another good position, and then the Commanders, Cardinals are in the 3rd and 4th best position when it comes to cap space. So you put those two things together, and they kind of got this chart. You want to be in the top right corner. That means you have good cap space and a lot of draft capital. Those are the two guys up here. But you want to be on the right side here. So this means, hey, you got a lot of draft capital, got a lot of cap space, don't have a lot of draft capital. Same with the Lions. Cap space is good. Just don't have a lot of draft capital. Hopefully there's some comp picks and some things like that. So this gives you an idea when you see this that, all right, Washington Commanders, so it's always like, man, I want my team to do something in the offseason, of course. But then you look at it, it's like, well, we don't really have any assets to make things happen. We don't really have the cap space or we don't have well, in this case, the Commanders actually do have that. So look for your team to make moves this offseason. Picking up free agents. Draft capital's not great, but it's not terrible either. But you can see what I'm saying there. All right, let's get some players. We should be able to is where I'm going with that. Now, take this over and plug it in here to the let's just have a little fun while we're here. Just from an outsider's perspective, right? Draft simulator. If I'm a Washington Commanders GM, which I'm not, clearly, what does this look like? Okay, so I'm going to pick the Washington Commanders right here. I'm going to enter the draft. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Washington Commanders are on the clock. Pick 29. Let's look at who went just before us. So there's the Lions go right before you. Demetrius Knight, linebacker. You've got a tackle. Kenneth Grant fell all the way to 26. So Washington Commanders are up. This Gray Zabel guy keeps popping up. He's a tackle, but he's supposed to be able to play. He's supposed to be able to play inside. Then you got a defensive lineman. It's like, okay. Colston Loveland. I don't hate that one. I'm trying to think. You got your older tight end. Dude's good, but Colston Loveland would be awesome. All right, I'm going to pick. Remember, we're just doing the first 3 rounds here. Hey, there's that Stanford wide receiver, Jack Beck, Landon Jackson. Ooh, I'm going Landon Jackson. That's right. Defensive end. Let's do this, baby. Can't go wrong with your defensive line. Can you? All right, running back. All right. Cameron Williams, tackle out of Texas. I think that was a good one. And then the next pick here, linebacker, tight end, Isaiah Bond, wide receiver. Again, okay, let's take a look at this. Let's just see how PFF graded this out. You drafted Landon Jackson too high. Okay, that's fine. All right, here we go. Man, look at that. Defensive end, tackle, wide receiver. B, A, B+. Thank you. I feel good about that. I feel real good about that. Okay, let's look over here. Here's how the first round goes. Cam Ward with dual quarter. Yeah, that first 10 picks seem solid. But so I always like to look around. Yeah, you can see over here the picks that go around you. It's like running back, corner, tackle. Kenneth Grant. Man, he slipped. All right. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel. Man, over 25,000 subs. Going for 30. Hit that sub button, and we'll see all of you on the next one.